So guys, apparently this has been some roller coaster and basically just some rabbit hole after rabbit hole.
As long as you're cool with me, we chill like that.
So what is actually really going on real quick? Well, if you basically know my other previous video, then you basically get the idea. But if not, then don't waste your time watching that video, cause I'll basically give you the full filling in. Is that Demi just saying irrelevant things, irrelevant topic about Cheapy's past, about him getting cheated on. All right, and yeah, irrelevant, such like that, because it's not going to a topic. But Cheapy Reviews is basically doing the exact same thing that Demi did to a different person. Because this person is basically saying Demi didn't do anything wrong. And for some reason, Cheapy Reviews just basically decided to pull up the 17-year ago charges of him instead of just talking about the topic itself. Like I said, I thought that people were basically going to be like, bro, you're doing hypocrisy and such like that. And yet, isn't that the same thing though? And they're probably just going to be saying like, oh, it's not the same thing. It's because this person is a pedophile. Like, what the fuck? How does this basically get to the relevant of the conversation, Brusky? Oh my days, man. It just really is a rabbit hole. Because here's the deal real quick, is that after when I basically look at the post, I basically posted, like, motherfucker, you're a Lolicon fan. And by the way, I'm obviously gonna say that these are not the same things as in being a predator and Lolicon, but it does have the same theme of sexualizing minors, so I'm basically saying that it's the same shit, just basically different. But anyways, deal is though, is that I basically said that, and also another point of him doing hypocrisy about him doesn't want to talk about the past of him, and yet he's basically talking about another person's past that was 17 years ago, and pretty much, I literally thought the post was just gonna be like, like giving me at least some exposure to this guy, but for some fucking reason, the whole internet was basically seeing this comment of mine, and calling me a predator defender. Like, how is this comment that I just made a predator defender? Because what I'm basically am saying is that when this person is like a lolicon, I'm basically saying that they're doing the same boatness as the sexualization of minors. And another thing too, they're trying to basically say that I'm claiming that two of the events are the exact same, when obviously they're fucking not. Because here's the deal, real quick, is that I'm not targeting like the two events of like the person that is getting cheated on to somebody that is basically doing alleged offending and such like that. I'm not saying those are the two events that are the same. Not at even the conversation at all. What I am saying is that this person, GP Reviews, doesn't want to talk about his past, but he can basically talk about the other person's past. Like, that's basically contradictory in itself. That doesn't really give you actual point. And you can pretty much just basically see, like, through all these comments that basically are telling me, like, I'm retarded, pedophilia, something like that. And it's just really stupid. Because, like, it's basically like, how can you tell me that I'm like some sort of predator defender or pedophilia defender when technically you're doing that thing also? Because information wise, lolicon is basically a form of pedophilia. And if it's a form of pedophilia, why are you acting like Cheaper Reviews is basically a different person or a different thing? The theme is is that it's both sexualizing minors and all that type of mess, even though if it's like fictional or not. Because here's the deal real quick, is that it's basically like this. You got into super mega hell to hell. Even though that something is like the worstest thing, it's not worse. Like, they're pretty much like not really like, you know, the same thing, but it's basically still in the bad category. And also, not just basically the whole predator defender that they're trying to accuse me of while they're all about that, but at the same time though, their defenders are also pedophiles also. Because for this person real quick, is that it's like US Ingy or something like that. Apparently, he basically confessed about him basically messing up with a really, really young person. A really young person, I'd say that. And, like, how is this really connecting in productivity, my dude? Like, oh my days, man. And that's what I can basically conclude, that this whole situation is just basically hypocrisy, my dude. Like, how, man? How? Just tell me, please. And just straight up, it's just like, I really just want to just have like a mental break at this point on, and actually at this point, at the end of this video, I'm just gonna basically just block cheap reviews and not talk about, well, not talk about him, just basically like not be like, you know, the whole quote-unquote bandwagoning that he is basically causing. And as a matter of fact, I'll just basically do this shit, right? Alright, broskies, I blocked him, alright? Blocked him. As you can pretty much see, you can see, I blocked him. So I do not be in this quote-unquote bandwagoning and actually can have a productive life system than he is. But anyways, like, you can basically just tell for a fact, like, it's just fucked up, man. It's really a fucked up internet. For real, man. Because all they're just doing is just trying to basically say that, like, lolicon is an okay thing when it's not. And for some reason, people are trying to justify it by saying that, oh, it's fiction. It doesn't harm any real people. But how can you basically say that when technically some of the things are fictional, but you treat it as such a real thing? Because, like, for an example, like, Law and Order. Law and Order pretty much just gives us, like, real-life scenarios that can basically potentially happen, but that whole situation in the shows are not real, but it can basically be real in the real world. So, if it can be, and someone basically says that, oh, it's just a show, you'll lose your shit. Because deal is that it's given off real scenarios that will basically happen. And like another example and such like that, like, not basically like the same situation, I'm talking about a different one, like, the progression of, like, for an example, Destiny 2. Like, even though that it's basically just a game, I basically see you play it for 2 fucking hours and basically see you having looting for like 10 straight hours for just a god roll. Like, I can't just say that it's now just the game, or just a show, or just this, because if basically there's like involvement of connection, or some disgust, or some sort of trust issue, or something like that, then it can't just be just X. You know what I mean? And with that, I'm just gonna basically just end this video with, bro, just ignore this person at this point on, because they're just gonna basically say insane shit. And 2, is that if you basically know what is right objectively, like, as in that sexualizing minors is not an okay thing, even if it's basically fictional, is wrong, then hold up to that thing. And am I basically saying, like, we have the same opinions? No. We don't have the same opinions as you and I. But, deal is, though, is that if there's actually a objective thing that we do not like, or basically should be standardized as, then we can basically partake in that and coexist. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's just all like a hypocrisy situation in the show right now. So I'm gonna just end it, and hopefully, like, with you and I, like, if you're okay with me talking about topics or you want to chill with me in games and such like that, then hey, we chill like that. And with that, end this video. Peace.